Hey, how are you doing? This is the unbridled truth. This is Teacher Terry. I'm living in Thailand, and a lot of people have been asking, and I see it on many forums, about severance pay as a foreign teacher. And today I hope to clear this up for you because I have the Thai labor book. Let's see if we can get it in here somewhere. Well, let's see. Anyway, this is the Thai Labor Protection Act. That's right. Any questions about it? I have it both in the English and in the Thai version. First of all, let me go over some of these things with you. When you hear this statement, it's a term contract, it is a lie. It is not a term contract. Here is the definition. Employment of a fixed duration referred to in paragraph 3, which we will discuss, shall be said to exist in the case of employment on a special project which is not in the normal way of business or trade of the employer, where there is a fixed schedule for commencement and completion of work, or for work of a temporary nature with a fixed schedule for its commencement or completion. Now, as a teacher, their teaching English is normal operating procedure for the schools. It's in their budget, it's in their program, it's in their curriculum, it's mandated by the MOE. It is a required activity within the schools. There is no particular starting date except when it very first began, and there is definitely not a completion date. Your contract is not fixed. That's a complete lie to you. A lot of schools can give you a 10 to 20-year contract if they want to. The only reason that they don't do this and hold it over you with this lie is because immigration has not evolved enough to open their eyes nor their brain to realize long-term employment is a benefit to the country. It offers stability. It offers people who are married. It offers people who want to live here for a long time a means of employment, a means of survival, and it puts money into the economy. Haven't evolved to that point yet. So the schools are telling you, I get a 1-year visa, you have a 1-year contract. Doesn't have to be that way. Does not have to be that way. All they have to do is renew the contract. They don't do that because if they fail to renew that contract, it falls under what we're going to cover here, termination. And let's look at this very, very quickly. Section 118, Chapter 11, severance pay. An employee who has worked for at least 120 consecutive days, but for less than 1 year, shall be paid the basic pay for not less than 30 days at the most recent rate of basic pay. Not less than the basic pay he received for work performed in the last 30 days in respect to the employee who is rewarded on the base of his output. Article 2. An employee who has worked continuously for at least 1 year but less than 3 years shall be paid the base pay for not less than 90 days at the most recent rate of basic pay received by him, or not less than the basic pay for work performed in the last 90 days in respect of an employee who is rewarded on the basis of his output. Now, number 1, if you've worked 120 days but less than a year, you're entitled to 1 month severance pay. Article 2 said that if you have worked continuously for 1 year, but less than 3, 1 to 3 years, you are entitled to 3 months severance pay. This is the law. Pertains to everybody, not just Thai people. Article 3, and a lot of you fall into this area right here. An employee who has worked consecutively for at least 3 years, but not less than 3 to 6 years, shall be paid the basic pay for not less than 180 days at the most recent rate of pay received by him, or again, it repeats, pay that based on output. Number 4, and I know several people like this. Employee who has worked consecutively for at least 6 years but less than 10 shall be paid not less than 240 days at the most recent rate of basic pay received by him, but not less than the basic pay performed by work based on output for 240 days. Now, that's a lot. That's a lot. 240 days divided by, let's say, 30, that's 6 months. Wait a minute. 8 months. 3 times 8 is 24. So that's 8 months worth of severance pay that they owe you if you have worked between 6 and 10 years. Now, number 5. An employee who has worked for 10 years consecutive or more shall be paid not less than 300 days at the most recent rate of pay. So, if they don't renew your contract, or if they've terminated you, and you've worked there for 10 years minimum or more, they must pay you 300 days worth of severance pay. That's the law, and there it is, written in Thai, the Thai language. That is the law. Termination of an employment in this section shall mean any act of the employer which prevents an employee from continuing to work and receive his basic pay therefor, whether due to termination of an employment contract, whether it's a termination of your contract, or for any other reason, shall include the situation where an employee cannot work and be paid because the employer can no longer operate its business. See, if the business goes out of business or if you're let go, they still have to pay you. This is the law. This is the law. Now, a lot of these legal companies, I challenged a school one time, and I found out very quickly, here's where you will get screwed. Now, yes, this is the Thai labor law. It is published and put out by the Natee International Law Offices, but there is a condition in here where the rich, the elite of the country, have gone and petitioned. There is a clause in here, if it is a private school, not a government school, a private school, under certain conditions, they are not bound by this law. They're totally exempt because they give you a contract that specifically spells out each and every detail they're going to give you. And you sign that particular contract. Now, if it's a public school, they will give you a contract, but their contract cannot supersede government law. They're not exempt. They're not exempt. Now, there are certain things, there are 4 conditions in which a company does not have to pay severance pay. These are the, 6. And these are the 6. Dishonest performance of his duties or intentional commission of a criminal act against the employer. Not many school teachers do that. intentionally causing loss to the employer. Now, they can interpret you take a pencil that costs them money. They can kind of shuffle that around, but it should be a substantial kind of loss. 3, performance of an act of negligence which results in severe loss to the employer. Severe. Now, that's got to be tearing up property or something, because it's got to be very severe. 4, violation of the employer's work rules, regulations, or orders which are both lawful and equitable when the employer has already issued the employee with an appropriate written warning, except in a serious instance where the employer is not required to give a warning. So they have to actually give you two warnings at least. One verbal, one in writing, and then serve you one. Number 5. And the written warning shall only be effective for 1 year. After that, it's gone. Number 5, neglect of his duties for a period of 3 consecutive days. Now, if you don't go to school for 3 days without a valid reason, they don't have to pay you. They don't have to pay you. Without reasonable cause, whether or not a holiday intervenes. Now, that has been interpreted where on Sunday is a holiday, Saturday's a holiday, you didn't go to work on Friday, they put them all 3 together, Monday you're terminated without pay. Or Monday you don't show up for work, Saturday and Sunday's your holiday, you're terminated. This keeps people from taking off on the weekends to give them a long weekend. That can be used in that way. Number 6, if you go to jail for any reason. Okay, now these are the conditions set out for severance and for the conditions of non-payment. People, you are being lied to, you are being fleeced. And there are schools out there, every school I've ever worked for, do not want you to know these rules, these laws. And there's a lot of things in here that you're covered by. 1, you are by law given 30 days sick leave. Now, I will tell you, if I've got a school and you're taking 30 days sick leave, believe me, you're going to get a medical checkup. If you're that sick, you shouldn't be working anyway. It's got to be pretty serious to miss 30 days. But there's the law. There it is right there. So when somebody's asking you, or the school is telling you they don't have to pay you severance pay, that is a lie. It is a blatant lie. It is done by every single person in this world. And I will tell you for a fact, if you file a complaint and you've got that book that you can order at any bookstore called the Thai Labor Employment, let me make sure about the title. It's called the Labor Protection Act. You can order this from any bookstore. Now, I've heard that some of it's only in Thai now, but that's okay. That's okay, because it's in there. You go to the labor board and you say, there's the law, that's what they did, and the labor will defend you. The labor will say that they need to be paid. Why? Because what they've done is they take a little bit of the money too. Let me tell you how they do that. There's another law that I'm looking for now. I used to have it. I don't know where I put it. Every foreign teacher in every public school, the government gives them an extra 30,000 baht per month as a stipend to add to your budgeted salary. That's exactly what it's for. To raise your salary up to 55 to 60 or better per month, because every single visa you have to have in Thailand requires at least 55 or 60,000 baht per month income. Schools don't pay near that. You know it and I know it. Where does that stipend go? Well, A little bit of it's going to the local labor board because they're not enforcing that when you're signing your contract, or they assume you're getting paid. Because I've gone to labor on that issue and they said, what? And I've gotten some money. Or the immigration themselves aren't, well, I know every immigration officer in this country, everybody's got a little tea money. They love that tea. Yes, they do. We're talking green tea, black tea, red tea, yellow tea, green tea, sweet tea, whatever it's called. That tea money is being properly used and appropriated. Where do you think all of these Thai teachers every summer go to these trips to Hong Kong, to Singapore, and then they all suddenly have this money? It's that 30,000 baht per foreign teacher that they're rat-holing, putting in a little special little slush fund so they can go enjoy their life. That's exactly where it's coming from. Headmasters are taking their cut off of it. Heads of the English departments are taking their little piece of the pie. And now they've even got this new one. We're going to pay you 11 months. We're not going to pay you for summer holiday. But they still keep your name on the payroll, and they still keep sending it in because they get twice the money during that month off each foreign teacher. So you may not get your 30,000 baht for that month, but the school is going to get their 60. Or they'll tell you when you're leaving a job, oh, you don't have to worry about your about canceling your work permit. We'll let it keep going to help you till you find another job. Don't fall for that. Immediately go to the labor board, turn in your work permit. It's yours. You're supposed to have it on you, not the school. You'll sign a paper. You don't have to pay anything. You'll get your copy that you turned it in. You will get a copy that it's been done. You'll have 3 pieces of paper, a receipt, another form that you fill out, and then your passport will indicate. You will go to the border if you do a border flip, and everything's in order. They'll get angry that you did that because you just cost them money. But if you don't do that and you get another job, and that job checks with this school, and it shows that you weren't working exactly on those dates, you're guilty of overstay, and you're going to have to pay 500 baht per day. I got victimized by that, and I had to pay 18,000 baht. And the school said, hey, we'll loan that to you, but you'll pay us back 20,000. They set me up for that. That happened. That happened in Galveston. People, know before you go. Know your rights. Teaching in Thailand is corrupt. It's completely nefarious. And if you don't know your rights and know how to protect yourself, you're not going to have a great experience. And I'm telling you for a fact, that's the labor law. That's the way it works. And if push comes to shove, the Labor Department will defend you to protect themselves. This is Teacher Terry. Wish you a lot of luck.